Hey guys, so today we're starting a new unit. Today we're going to focus on generating equivalent expressions, mainly focusing on combining like terms. So before we get there, let's talk about some vocabs and parts of an algebraic expression. The first thing that we have are called terms. The terms are the parts of an expression that are separated by a plus or minus sign. So terms are the parts of an expression that are separated by a plus or minus sign. The next thing that we have are called coefficients. So coefficients are numbers that are multiplied by at least one variable. So here our example is 2x. My coefficient there would be the number 2. I can see something like 3x squared where my coefficient is just 3. So it's the number being multiplied by my letter or my variable. The next thing we have are called like terms, which we're going to practice combining like terms a little bit further down. So like terms are terms with the same variables raised to the same powers. Now, powers you might have heard last year. It depends on what school you went to. These are also called exponents. So let's look at combining like terms. So here I have z squared plus z plus 4z cubed plus 2z plus 2z squared. So what I want to do first, I want to circle, underline, box. However you want to separate these, you could color code them, use different highlighters or anything like that. My terms that are the same, my like terms. So I'm going to look at what I have. Here I have z squared. And I want to see if I have any other z squareds, regardless of the coefficient or the number that's in front. So I see here at the end, I have 2z squared. The next thing I'm looking at z here. So I'm going to circle this, and I want to circle any other just z's by itself. So up at the top, we saw that like terms have the same variable with the same exponent. So that's why I boxed z squared and 2z squared. That's why I circled z and 2z. They have the same variable and then the same exponent. So here I have 4z cubed, which I don't have any other ones, so I'm not going to combine that one. When I am combining these, I'm just adding it. I'm looking for that sign in front. So if I wanted to do the z's, here I have a positive z and 2 positive z's. Well, z plus 2z gives me 3z plus, let's go on to our squares. I have z squared plus 2z squared. So z squared plus 2z squared gives me 3z squared. And then the last one I have is that 4z cubed. I'll put that at the end. So I had z squared plus z plus 4z cubed plus 2z squared. It makes it really long, and what I'm trying to do is bring it together and bring it kind of simplified. So the next one that I have is 2x plus 4x minus 6 plus 3x minus 4. So what I'm looking at here, again, I want to combine my like terms however I want to do it, box, circle, underline, color-coded like I did on the first one. So here my first one that I have is just x. So I want to go in and I want to take that sign with it and find any variables that are the same. So here I have 2x plus 4x and then plus the 3x. Then I have this minus 6 and then the minus 4. These are just called terms or constants. So my constant numbers don't have a variable with it. It's just a plain number. But I still want to combine those together. So I have minus 6 and then minus 4. So when I go to combine these numbers together, I have 2x plus 4x plus 3x's. Well, if I combine all that together, 2 plus 4 gives me 6, plus 3 gives me 9. I have 9 x's. Then I have this off to the side. So I have negative 6, and again, I'm taking that sign in front, minus 4. I'm taking that sign in front again. And we just finished integers, so I should know that this is equal to negative 10. So I have 9x minus 10. And now my expression there is simplified. The next example I'm going to look at is 7a squared minus a squared plus 3 plus 2a squared plus 5. And again, I want to go in and circle, box, anything that are the same with the same variable to the same power. So here I have 7a squared. I have minus a squared plus 2a squared. Well, 7a squared minus 1a squared gives me 6a squared. Now I only see constants. So again, these are just my plain numbers, and I'm going to combine those together. So I have 3 positives and 5 positives. And again, we just covered integers, so we should know that that gives me 8 positives. The next one here, I have y plus 4 plus 3. Anytime I have a number touching these parentheses here, that does tell me to multiply. And then I have plus 7. This unit, we are doing PEMDAS, and we are doing the order of operations. So I do want to show you the distributive property really quickly, and we'll get to properties later. So the first thing I want to do is to work with this parentheses and this multiplication piece. Again, in PEMDAS, I have parentheses, exponents, then multiplication and division, and then adding and subtracting. So we're going to tackle the multiplication first. Again, anytime I have this number touching this parentheses there, I am going to multiply. This is called the distributive property. I'm going to distribute the 3 to both of those terms in there. So now what I have is y plus 4 plus 3 times y gives me 3y plus 3 times 3 gives me 9. Now, a big misconception here is that I have a lot of people doing 3 times y, but then we'll forget to do the 3 times 3. So make sure you're passing it out to both of those numbers. And then I have the plus 7 at the end. Now I can combine my like terms. So here I see I have a y. Here I have that positive 3y. So y plus 3y gives me 4y. And now I'm going to combine my constants, just my plain numbers. I have that positive 4, positive 9, and then the positive 7. Well, I know that 9 plus 7 gives me 16, plus 4 gives me 20. So I have 4y plus 20. Down here, we're going to use properties to generate equivalent expressions. Here, again, I'm combining like terms. I have 6x squared minus 4x squared. This is like saying if I have 4 cheeseburgers minus 4 cheeseburgers. So here, again, I have the same term here. I have the same x squared as I do here. And we can only combine terms that are the same. So here I have 6x squared minus 4x squared gives me 2x squared. The next one that I have, I'm going to do underneath. I have 3a plus 4 times this a plus 5. So again, when I have a number that is touching the parentheses with no sign in the middle, we are going to multiply that. We're going to distribute the 4 to the a. We're going to distribute the 4 to the 5. We're multiplying that. So now I have 3a plus 4 times a gives us 4a plus this positive 4 times a positive 5 gives me positive 20. From there, now I can combine my like terms to make it shorter. I see that I have 3 a's here and I have 4 a's there. That gives me 7 a's And I can't combine this 20 with anything because it doesn't have an a with it. So I'm just plugging that in at the end. 7a plus 20. The next one here, I have 3y squared plus 3 times 4y squared minus 2. So again, I want to tackle this multiplication piece first and distribute that out. So from here, I have the 3y squared plus 3 times 4y squared. I'm going to multiply like normal. 3 times 4 gives us 12, and I'm keeping the y squared. And then I have a positive 3 times a negative 2. So positive times a negative does give me a negative, and minus a negative kind of mean the same thing. So I have 3 times a negative 2, which gives me a negative 6 or a minus 6. Now I want to combine my terms that are the same. Here I have y squared. Here I have y squared. And then negative 6 is by itself. I can't combine that with anything. So 3y squared plus 12y squared gives me 15y squared. And then I have this piece all by itself up to the side, so minus 6. The next thing I have is 1/4 times 16 plus 4x. And again, I want to distribute this to both parts of that parentheses. So the first thing I have 1/4 times 16. And remember, we've talked about multiplying fractions with whole numbers. So I have 1/4 times 16 over 1, which gives me 16 over 4, which is the same thing as 4. So here I have 4 plus, if I get rid of this, I have 1/4 times 4x over 1. Which gives me 4x over 4. Now we can reduce that 4 over 4. We can cancel that. But I'm still left with this x off to the side. And it's still x over 1. So I have 4 plus x there. And that's my answer. I can't combine anything else there. Hopefully you caught my mistake up here in this question right here. Make sure you're looking at every single piece. So I had the 6a squared. Well, that gives me this part here, but I'm still missing this 2a there. So 6 plus 2 gives me 8a squared, and I still have that 8 piece. Hopefully you caught that mistake. So now let's look at the back. Now, when I see questions like this, I want to be able to kind of break it apart a little bit. So it says, Gloria wrote the expression shown below. We have g times 1 plus 16 plus g times 1 plus g times 1 plus g times 1 plus 31. So when I'm looking at this, I want to kind of break it apart into the multiplication and then the addition pieces. So I kind of talked to you guys. We are going to get to PEMDAS, so we do need to do that multiplication piece first. So I'm going to break it down into this g times 1, g times 1. So we know that g times 1 is just g. G. And I'm looking to see what I can combine. So here I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 g's. So I have 4g. And then I want to combine my constants, or my numbers that are just by themselves. Change that color. Let's box these. So I have 16 plus 31, which gives me 47. So I have 4g plus 47, and the one that matches there is A. And you always want to go in and just double check and see like which one kind of goes together. So here I see I have 4g plus 4 times 1 is 4, but I also have this plus 47, which wouldn't match my above here. So always go through and kind of work them out just to make sure you're doing it correctly. The next question says, a teacher asked the student to write an expression equivalent to the one below. So I have 4m plus 4. To be correct, the students could have written any of the following expressions except, so I want to find the wrong answer. And again, this is my simplified version. I'm looking to see which one I can combine, use to combine. So here, 8m. If I have 4m plus 4, can't really combine that to just say 8m. In order to do that, this 4 has to have an m in there, and it doesn't. Let's look at the other ones. I have 3m plus 4 plus m. Again, you're combining things that are similar. So 3m plus 4 plus 1m gives me 4m. And then I'm left with that constant of just that positive 4 there. So I can see that that one is correct. The next one I see is B. Again, I'm distributing. I'm passing that 4 out to both pieces. So 4 times m gives me 4m plus 4 times 1, which gives me 4. So I see that that matches. That is also correct. And the next one I see, I have 2 plus 2m plus m plus 2 plus m. So again, combine things that are similar. I have an m there, m there, m there. And then I have my constant 2 and then my constant 2 there. So 2m plus m gives me 4m. And then I have 2 plus 2, which gives me 4, which is also correct. So it is A. I cannot combine 4m plus 4 to get 8m. Does not work out. And then the last one, Ray wrote the following expression as an answer in math class. Which of the following is equivalent to Ray's expression? So I have 14 times b plus 1 minus 6 minus 4b minus 5. So again, I'm going in there. The first thing I see is that I have this multiplication piece right here. I need to distribute or pass out that 14. And again, remember, when I have a number touching a parentheses, that does tell me to multiply. So I have 14 times b, which gives me 14b, plus 14 times 1, which gives me 14. Then I'm bringing everything else down. So I still have minus 6, minus 4b, minus 5. And then I want to combine like terms. I want to see what's the same. So I have 14b, and then I have this minus 4b there. Then I see that I have my constants. I have plus 14, minus 6, and then minus 5. So 14b minus 4b gives me 10b. So I did that. Now I'm looking at my constants. I have 14 minus 6 minus 5. So 14 minus 6. Let's rewrite this. Let's do 14 minus 6 minus 5. And remember, guys, we've already seen it like this. Negative 6 minus 5 is really just negative 11 or minus 11. So I have 14 minus 11, which is the same thing as 3. So I have 10b plus 3, which gives me D. Make sure you have these notes. Hopefully you understood. I'll go over it again tomorrow. The sub will tell you to solve the questions around the room. Make sure you're working hard. It is a grade, so make sure you're getting it turned in.